I think recently you built a feature called ErrorShield. Why did you have to build that in the first place? Like,
Because I believe that ErrorShields makes workflows intelligent about these failures.
mm,
It can diagnose, it can
mm,
adapt, and can
mm, mm,
fix without human intervention,
mm,
with or without human intervention.
mm,
Then we can see that email failed that with the error does not contain a valid address. So what happens next? Then ErrorShield triggered,
mm.
and you can see that agent was able to correct the email.
This is interesting, actually. Yeah. So their role is basically of a strategy. Like they have to build more reliable workflows to execute the tasks that they want to do. This brings to
I
a
like to think
question.
of
Mhm. Yeah.
I like to think of it as building anti-fragile workflows.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Aaveg, and today we are talking about something every business deals with but hates to admit, and when their automation breaks. I'm with Dmitry to talk about this in a new way to handle this. Welcome, Dmitry.
Beck, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. And I think today we are talking about a very interesting problem, like what actually have to do when something got break. Let's say if someone has set up the automation and when it breaks, it's a interesting problem to solve. So let's deep dive in. I think recently you built a feature called ErrorShield. Why did you have to build that in the first place? Like what big problem does it solve with automation?
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking.
Mhm.
So, from what we see, from automating thousands of different workflows, is that for enterprise, it's either us or our clients. We heavily invest in automation
Mhm.
by building workflows, but then we spend the same amount of time or even more to babysit those workflows and babysit those failures when the workflow is failing for some reason. And after launch, we need to monitor, or our client needs to monitor the failures and adjust the
Mhm.
workflow, because in the real world, nothing is ideal, right? Things are breaking, data is not clean, there is
Mhm.
some network outage in some data center, some service is unavailable,
Mhm.
some APIs stop working.
Mhm.
So things are breaking, and how not to lose information, and how to make sure that everything is reliable, working reliably is a big challenge. So
Mhm.
over time we need to iterate together with our clients,
Mhm.
and traditional solutions for that was stop everything, just stop the workflow, notify the people, or even the worse, just fail silently and no one
Mhm.
knows about
Mhm.
it. Probably you've seen in your experience things happening like this
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
right? And why error shields? Because I believe that error shields makes workflows intelligent about these failures.
Mm,
It can diagnose, it can
mm,
adapt, and can
mm, mm,
fix without human intervention,
mm,
with or without human intervention.
mm, mm. Yeah, I think that makes completely sense. For example, if someone who is very non-technical in this thing and if he wants to make some workflow, he might not aware like why exactly this automation got failed. And I think if we have something in place called Error Shield, then definitely it can help us in improving all those scenarios where something got break and no one has any idea. So I think that's a good take. Do you have anything to share right now that you can share us and present us like what exactly you built? We want to see in some UI and stuff for that.
Yeah, I have a workflow, a very
Okay.
simple one for the purpose of the demo.
Mm-hmm.
And the workflow is basically sends an email. You send it, yeah, you send it some email.
Okay.
Let's for simplicity choose one email,
Mm-hmm.
and as an input, it will be an
Mm-hmm.
email address, and as an output, we will send an email and save it, save the information.
Mm-hmm.
So when let me just quickly type something. So entering this, and email successfully being sent out. you can see it's completed, and I can see it in my mailbox, and everything is nice here. I can just adjust the output so the workflow also finishes successfully. So now let's try and see what happens usually when the workflow fails. So I'm adding this. I'm changing the email in a way that it's not a standard email, and we can see that sending a mail failed. Failed to send a mail doesn't contain the valid address. That's quite expected, and we've seen it many, many times when the data is not clean and collected from external sources, from forms. There is always something that is breaking, and you never know what's happening. And you can see that retries are happening multiple times, and it will not be resolved because the data is run by itself, right? So it's not a network issue here, right?
Okay.
But it's a data issue, and there is no way to resolve this workflow usually. So with an error shield, there are a few ways that we can sort it out.
Okay.
One is, it's very simple. We just stop the workflow. We stop the workflow, and someone needs to jump in, be notified, jump in, and sort it out. When we click it, there is nice shield around the node, and you can see what is happening here.
Okay.
But this is traditional approach. It just fails, right? Without any error shield. Another way, sometimes you want to skip the node and continue normally, which means this node is not crucial for the workflow. It's just some nice to have. For example, it's a notification to the ops team, and you don't want to stop the workflow because some internal notification didn't happen. You just want to skip it and continue the workflow as it was successful, right? So when you select it, the workflow will continue normally and will complete successfully. Third one is also quite traditional but interesting here is the error output. So we can do something interesting here. We can handle errors. And this is a traditional, also I would say traditional approach where we can, for example, add a human task, human in the loop handling of the situation. And we can trigger this task when the error happens.
Okay.
The task will be triggered, and there will be some information which we can add, and basically it's human in the loop handling or some alternative method of communication. For example, if SMS sending failed, you can try to send via email, right? Just to make it more reliable. So this is what usually happens, but this is not the most interesting here. The most interesting is AI resolver.
Okay, quick question. Quick question before you go to AI resolver. So you told us there is a thing called fail workflow, skip workflow. So basically fail workflow is nothing. Like for example, if this node is breaking, then it will stop the whole execution. So even without error shield, it behaves like that, correct? Like for example, if there is some error in node, it will stops the whole execution. Then what is the difference between if I'm selecting fail workflow from this place or without using any error shield?
It just makes it more explicit. By default, we still want to handle workflows, even if you haven't enabled the error shield, but now you can choose how to handle it.
Got it.
So when it's not enabled, there will be a default behavior, which is, in our case, it's enable retries and fail workflow after that. But in other cases, you might want to control it explicitly and just choose. So nothing interesting about it here.
Okay. And I think skip workflow is, skip node is just like, for example, if some node is not very important for the next step, then I think anyone can use skip node. Like, can you give one example, like why if someone needs to use the skip node, like some real world example for our clients? Why anyone
Yeah,
would choose skip
very
node?
very simple example here is
Mm-hmm.
just notifications to the ops team, which is not critical to the workflow, but it's a nice to have node. You don't want to fail if something goes wrong there, but you want to skip and continue.
Mm.
So usually it's some notifications or some non-critical paths of the workflow
Okay.
can be handled with the skipping, which is quite popular, like
Mm.
commonly used. Another use case is, for example, when you trying to work with some specific type of files,
Mm.
and then the file is of wrong format,
Mm.
right? And you know when it happens. And for example, when we receive emails and we want to process only PDF, that's our
Mm.
use case, right?
Mm.
But JPEG is coming in, and it's usually a signature or like company logo there, and you don't want to process it. So you just, when you receive this image, and for some reason it fails in the
Mm.
workflow, you can just skip this image processing and continue with your PDFs because it's a non-critical and non-important information for you.
Got it. Got it. And can you explain one more time about the continue? Like you mentioned, like in continue, there's a thing called human in the loop, with some error. When there is an error, then what do you mean by continue with error in output? Like what exactly you mean by this? Can you give one more simple example
Yeah.
with this continue thing? Yeah.
Uh, So, for example, when you want to, in a workflow, you want to have a separate handling of the
Uh-huh.
errors, and you just want to create a separate workflow, sub workflow, just for the error situation.
Okay. Okay.
You can add whatever you want. So it can be human in the loop,
Mm. Mm.
or you can trigger some webhook to
Mm.
notify some service that
Mm.
error
Mm.
is happened. So you are fully flexible here. You can send a
Got
Slack
it.
message, send SMS, call someone
Mm.
when error happens, call a
Mm.
webhook, or create a human in the loop task to
Okay.
manually resolve it. Or you can even build something more
Mm-hmm.
agentic AI sub workflow just to handle the error situation.
Okay. So basically, you are saying if this is just a sub node which can execute when error happened and when we selected this third option, then does this execution got stopped at that point till the time error didn't get solved? Let's say if I included human in the loop, then he
Just
needs to
continues
jump in.
continues the workflow. It just continues the workflow from the
Okay.
error and further away. Not usual output, but error will be triggered,
Okay.
and the one for successful output will not be. It will not continue the path of successful output. It will
Got
only
it.
continue the error path.
Error path. Okay.
So it's
Okay.
kind
Okay.
of splitter of the flows. The success and the error happen.
Got it. Got it. Also, one more question. There is a thing called notify on error in ErrorShield.
Correct.
So, which emails are we sending this no error? Like all the people who are part of this company tenant, or like any specific one?
Admins.
Only admins
But
right
it
now.
can be configured. It's
Okay, it can
admins,
be
but
configured.
yes, it can be configured.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, I think now we can go to AI resolver stuff. Let's go.
Awesome. So now AI resolver is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So when the error is happening, what do you think an usual workflow admin will do without AI resolvers? Like what is usually happening?
They will just go to the node, see like where exactly is the breaking. Try to resolve by their own by doing some by doing some here and there things, and maybe that they can do mostly, or they will take some help from their teams like whoever built that.
Yeah, so usually you go first into the nodes,
Mm-hmm.
like logs, and see what's happening. You
Mm.
want to see which workflows failed. This is
Mm.
usual steps.
Mm.
And then you analyze all these logs and see how can you improve and resolve the workflow executions.
Got it.
But what if I tell you that you can build anti-fragile workflows, agentic workflows with the AI resolver. And what this means, this is basically means that you cannot predict initially, you cannot predict all the possible failures, right? You only, and there will be many different types of failures, especially in the complicated workflow. But what if you build workflow which is adapting and improving to constantly changing information and handling situations which you as a workflow admin, a creator, you couldn't even think about, couldn't even predict, right? So this is what AI resolver can do actually. So when the error is failed and when the node is failed, resolver is being triggered, and AI resolver sees, first of all, it sees like what is the workflow about. It sees all the nodes, all the connections between the nodes, and then it sees all the data of the workflow execution. So it knows what email, for example, in our case, was sent. What is this node about? What email node is doing? So it has all the context of what is happening, and then based on the prompt, it can resolve it, right? So this AI resolver can change workflow. It can change inputs. It can change outputs and just completely skip the node and produce some results that the node should have been producing. But it didn't. It failed for some reason, right? So this AI resolver sees inside the files, if you send a PDF to the node, some attachments, it sees the everything and makes the decision. So you can just prompt it if the node fails, try to resolve the issue in the inputs. For example, we don't want to skip the node, but we want to resolve the issue with in the inputs because we believe that maybe the data is wrong here, right? But we don't know how the data is wrong. So any type of email can come, and there is no way to solve it reliably because people, if you've seen the real data, when you are importing tens of thousands of rows coming from different sources and the data is not clean, you will see all different types of emails there, for example, or all different types of formatting issues, etc. Right? But what if I tell you that you don't need to think about each specific possible way to fail it, but you can enable AI resolver, and AI resolver will be able to think how if it can resolve the inputs, or if it can resolve the workflow.
Let's say if AI resolver is not able to solve it, let's say it tries for the first time, second time, third time, still how many time it can just keep on trying it if still the error persists?
It will try a few times to resolve because it's an agent. So it will check once, it will check, and it will decide if the issue is it's able to resolve it or not. So it will make a decision based on the outputs, how to fail a workflow if it cannot resolve. So it can choose to fail workflow, skip node, continue. It can be all prompted as part of the AI prompt, how to handle different situations. But if you don't prompt, it will make a decision to the best of its knowledge. Based on workflow best practices.
Got it. I have one more question. Can we club this AI resolver with our three things that we discussed earlier? Like say, if AI resolver is not able to solve something, it can fail workflow, it can skip workflow, like to make it more customizable. Or it's just the AI can take the decision, like what exactly to choose.
All you need to do.
Oh, a prompt.
All you need to do is to prompt it. If you can't resolve, then fail the whole workflow.
Okay, got it.
It has
Interesting.
access to this information. It can change the node, the workflow,
Mm-hmm.
inputs, outputs, and it can choose how to fail if it cannot resolve.
Okay. Okay. This is interesting. So, Dimitri, you have already mentioned about AI Resolver. Can you also bring that to action and show viewers like what exactly it's doing? What are the capabilities that they can see as a demo wise?
Yes, so we will still use the same example of the workflow
Mm-hmm.
where we just receive email address and we send an email to that address, but
Okay.
we will enable AI Resolver and there will be a prompt to try to resolve it, otherwise fail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the end of the workflow happens. So let me
Okay.
try to execute. And here I will put
Mm-hmm.
completely wrong address. It's not exactly what's expected because the right one
Mm-hmm.
is having here at and then dot
Mm-hmm.
in the domain name.
Mm-hmm.
But let's make it wrong and let's see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
So input triggered, then we're trying to send an email. Then we can see that email failed that with the error does not contain a valid address. So what happens next? Then ErrorShield triggered, and you can see that agent was able to correct the email.
Okay.
Here you see the correct address, and
Yeah.
it retried the sending email node with the
Mm.
correct date now. And we
That's
can see
interesting.
that email was successfully sent. Hello
Mm.
world, and I just received it, and that's how
Mm.
it works. So
Okay.
input was wrong data, email failed first time, it triggered
Mm.
the AI
Mm.
error shield.
Mm. Mm.
AI error shield corrected the
Mm.
date and
Mm.
decided
Mm.
to retry the email.
Mm.
It was retried, and that's the end of workflow. It completed successfully, even though the data was incorrect. But
Mm.
with the AI capabilities, with the error shield, it was able to become resilient and anti-fragile.
Got it. So one question, can you show the prompt that you put for the AI resolver? Let's say if someone don't know what exactly will be the error in the future, if let's say if I just prompt like please resolve to the best of your capabilities, will it still able to do it, or you have to explicitly write input? Can we try with that as well? Please try to resolve with
Yeah,
best
let's
of your
try it.
capabilities. Yeah.
Try to resolve to the best of your
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Let's
can
see.
resolve and fail the whole workflow. Let's see.
Yeah. Because someone don't know what exactly can be the error in the future, so maybe they can prompt this and
It failed, as you
okay.
see.
Okay.
Then error
Okay.
shield triggered, and it still
Oh
was able to
wow.
correct it.
This is impressive.
And
Yeah.
then it retried the email node with the
Mm.
correct input data,
Mm.
and then
Mm.
it produced the output.
This is
And
actually
the
very
workflow
impressive. Yeah.
completed successfully.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So I think that's an amazing feature, to be very honest. Anyone who don't even have any idea of what can be the future, they can just prompt this and definitely I will solve it. So yeah, that's cool. So this brings to one question like how does this change the job for the person in charge of the workflow? Let's say whoever created this workflow, do they get to relax more or they just have to do a different kind of work to manage all of this thing?
Yeah, I
For
think
some.
the role
Mm-hmm.
becomes more strategic
Mm-hmm.
here. So instead of fighting for last 5% of where a workflow is breaking,
Mm-hmm.
you can enable AI resolvers, and they will be able to handle almost everything, almost all exceptions. And
Mm-hmm.
then the workflow builder, workflow manager can just focus on strategic things like how to improve the whole overall workflow, how to improve the agents,
Mm-hmm.
how to build evaluation data sets,
Mm-hmm.
and do experiments on the agents
Mm-hmm.
and improve overall quality instead of firefighting on specific workflow failures. With
Mm-hmm.
simple errors, it can be all handled by AI right now.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting,
And
actually. Yeah. So their role is basically of a strategy, like they have to build more reliable workflows to execute the task that they want to do. This brings to
I
a
like to think
question.
of
Yeah.
I like to think of it as building anti-fragile workflows. because we
Interesting.
know that workflows are fragile, and to make it more reliable, we use agentic agents as part of the workflow, and this makes the workflows anti-fragile. They adapt, they learn, they change things on the fly, reconfigure small things, and make sure that it's still working and processing correctly, even if something unexpected happened, which no one could predict, and it's a black swan event.
Got it, got it, got it. That's interesting. So one last question, like for someone who is using this for the first time, let's say ErrorShield using this for the first time, what's the common mistake to avoid while using it? Like what's the common thing that you can think of right now that anyone can avoid it on the very first hand?
Yeah, I think here when you are building workflow, try not to handle. It's more general than using ErrorShield or not. I think it's a general common mistake when building workflows, agentic workflows. Don't try to handle every possible error scenario from day one or every possible scenario. Start with common high impact failures that you see. Drop ErrorShield with the AI resolver and prompt it in a way that it's gonna resolve majority of the issues. See where it's still breaking, and look at if you need to adjust the workflow more, or if you need to adjust the resolver prompt, but it's definitely gonna boost the success rate significantly, even when something is not working.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. So are we trying to build workflows that can never fail, or it's just more smarter when do they fail? I think we cannot predict like whether this will fail or not. So what is the take on that thing? I think this is more smarter, if you say, to handle such cases.
I used a few times the word anti-fragile, but I also like to think of it as intelligent resilience and
Yeah,
not perfect reliability.
exactly. Yeah,
So because failure is inevitable,
yeah,
we all know systems are breaking, software is breaking. There is always some network issues, some
yeah,
services
yeah,
down, some connection failed to the
yeah.
database. Failure is inevitable. So let's make it graceful and intelligent, and handle the situation. If it's network issue, a AI resolver will be able to figure it out that it's a network issue and it will retry after some time. Or if it's a data issue, it will be able to handle the data, tweak it, and move to the next step successfully and resolve this workflow. So intelligent resilience is how I like to think about it.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting. So amazing. So huge thanks to Dmitry for breaking down this error shield. Thank you so much, Dmitry, for coming on the call and showing all these things and explaining each and everything very patiently. Really appreciate that. So I think that's all for today. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next video with some more interesting thing that we are currently building in our Peakflo AI things. So I'll see you around. Thank you so much.